Ah! Hi friends and neighbors, welcome to Help Desk, the place where we answer some of life's most curious questions. Or at least we try. We call upon both experts and regular folks to ponder some questions together, and I'm so excited about inviting a few folks on today. So let's get started. Our question for today is, how can I incorporate some writing routines to help spice up my life during this COVID-19 pandemic? Ooh, I just love this one. I know that sometimes what really helps me the most in my day, if I feel like I've had too many video calls, is just to put all my devices away, take my journal out, and set a timer and just journal for a little bit. Go outside, sit on my porch, get some fresh air. I know that some of you might have journaling or writing routines as well, and we would love to hear them. You can drop those in the comments to share with other folks. So the first person that we're going to hear from, her name is Dr. Beth Corrie. She teaches at the Candler School of Theology. She's also a member here at Neighborhood, and she does lots of writing, kind of less fun writing, more academic writing, but is going to share some tips with us that we can use for all kinds of writing. So we're going to start off with Beth, and I hope that some of these tips are helpful, that you can apply them in all sorts of writing spaces.
Hello, my name is Beth Corrie, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I write a lot, mostly for school, so I'm going to give you some tips about writing that might be useful even if you do not think of yourself as a creative writer, but just want to feel better about your writing for school or work. Pro tip number 1, structure is everything. Start with an outline. It can change, but this is your roadmap and helps keep you from losing track of what you are trying to do. Also, always have clear topic sentences to give the reader a map of where you're headed. When I was in high school, I learned about the 5-paragraph essay, an introductory paragraph, 3 body paragraphs, each making 1 of 3 points, and then a concluding paragraph. This is still a good model and can be expanded upon depending on the length of what you want to write. The main idea that makes it work is that it is a really clear structure that makes it easy on the reader to follow along. And if you can write in a way that makes it easy on the reader, they will like what you write so much more. And yes, teachers like to read papers that are clear and easy to read. Pro tip number 2, remember that writing, any writing, is a process. No one writes something perfectly the first time. Writing is rewriting. It is better to just write and then go back and edit. Sometimes you just have to sit and write whatever comes to mind in order to get the wheels turning. Sometimes you don't even really know what you're saying until you're writing it. But don't leave it that way. Go back and rewrite it after you have worked through it. Then have someone else read what you wrote out loud to you so that you can identify the rough edges. Believe it or not, less is more. Remove unnecessary words, especially adverbs and adjectives. Pro tip number 3, know when to walk away and know when to come back. If you get blocked, walk away. Take a shower, take a walk, cook a meal. Just let your brain work on the puzzle in the background while you're doing something else. Know when your mind is clearest and reserve that time, even if only for an hour or 30 minutes, and do that for your writing. And finally, read good writing. Emulate the style of writers you admire until you can find your own style. I hope that helps. Good luck. Bye.
Thank you so much, Beth, for sharing those tips. I know they were helpful for me just to kind of reframe, even as I'm out of school, but in doing some more structured writing. That was really helpful to hear. All right, so next we have John Adcox. He is also a member here at Neighborhood. We've got all Neighborhood folks today, but he also is the owner of Grammary Media, and he shares space with us here in the building at Neighborhood. So you're going to hear from him. He just wrote a book, so you can go buy his book if that's of interest to you. And you're going to hear a little bit more from him just about storytelling and how storytelling is is an intertwined part of all of our lives. So here's John.
Hey y'all, my name is John Adcox. I'm a member here at Neighborhood Church, and I'm the founder and CEO of Grammarly Media. We're a next generation book publisher and movie studio of the future. We call ourselves the Story Incubator because our business is literally all about story. I'm also an author. My first book is called Raven Wakes the World, and it's coming out next month. If you'd like to find out more information about my book, it's at ravenwakestheworld.com, all one word. Everything you want to know and much more besides is there. I did a course for the Broadleaf Writers Association on the Storyteller's Toolbox. That's some of the tools that are available to us as storytellers, whether you're writing a screenplay or a short story or a novel, or even if you're just giving a business presentation. The truth is we're all storytellers. Storytelling is important to us. If you'd like to look at that course, it's at johnadcox.com and it's free. It's an hour long and I hope it'll help you. Beyond that, the best I can say in a short period of time is that storytelling matters. It's important to us. I don't think most of us appreciate just how important storytelling is as a society and of course as individuals. Stories tell us who we are and more importantly, who we're supposed to be. I had a pastor friend recently define religion as communal response to a story. The language of God is parable and story. One of the examples I like to point at lately for how story matters is the Hunger Games, which if you look at it on the surface is a really ugly and dark story. I mean, it's kids killing kids. It's kind of grim. But if you look just a little bit below the surface, it's a lovely story. Because if you're in the third grade and you're playing dodgeball with bullies and you come home and you've got climate change and school shootings on TV, the Hunger Games is kind of what the world looks like to you. What the Hunger Games says is you're empowered to change it. And there's a whole group of kids. I look at the kids in Parkland where they had the school shooting, and those kids have gone around the country. And where they've gone, voting participation among young people has increased dramatically. Storytelling matters. I think it's because those kids have grown up on a steady diet of Marvel movies and Harry Potter and the Hunger Games. And because of that, they've come to believe that if they perceive danger and they don't perceive that the adult establishment is stepping up to protect them, they can band together with their friends and go out in the world and make meaningful change. I think it's because they've internalized all of these stories. It's become their mythology. That's the opportunity that we have as storytellers, and it's our responsibility. Thanks for listening.
All right, so go check John's book out if you want and let us know what you think. To finish us off today, I have two friends that are also part of the neighborhood community, Dr. Nora Bonner and Cora Rowe. Their field of study is creative writing, so definitely gifted writers, and we are grateful to kind of have them share with us today some of their specific writing practices that you might be able to pick up and incorporate into a writing routine of your own. So I'm gonna let them describe their practices, and if one resonates with you, I would invite you to try it this week and just see what happens.
Hi neighbor, this is your neighbor, Nora Bonner. I'm here to share a writing practice that I have recently adopted and really enjoy. So the idea is that you keep an appreciation journal. And I kind of got the idea from a poet named Ross Gay, and he had an interview with Krista Tippett on Being about writing a book called The Book of Delights, where he wrote an essay every day about something that delighted him. I've adapted that to a morning practice where I pick something that is kind of a thorn in my side in this season of my life. And for instance, having to stay in all day because I'm being quarantined or I'm self-quarantined. So I'll pick a topic like that, and then I will set a timer, or sometimes I just say I'll fill one page of a notebook, and I have to fill the page with things that I appreciate about that thing. So for instance, I like staying in all the time because I get to spend more time with my dogs, something like that. So anyway, I really recommend that practice if you just are looking for a way to start your day in a good mood and also discover some new angles to things that you had dismissed in your life. I also recommend doing this with people that are getting on your nerves, but just be careful about, how you release this information into the world. All right, good luck. let me know if you want any other writing tips. I love giving writing tips.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cora Rowe, and I'm a graduate student in the English doctoral program at Georgia State. Some of you may be new to writing, and some of you may be looking for ways just to shake up your writing routine. So today I wanted to share with you one of my own daily writing practices that you may want to incorporate yourself. So this is an exercise that I do every morning, and it's my own take on the contemplative practice of centering prayer. I call this centering attention, and I do view it as a spiritual practice. Those of you who are writers or artists may be familiar with Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way, which I would highly recommend reading if you're brand new to making art or if you're a seasoned artist. One of the methods for idea generation that she suggests is something called morning pages. And this is a concept where first thing in the morning, you write, ideally before you even get out of bed. And she suggests writing about 3 handwritten pages. And the goal is just to write with abandon, just throwing the ideas onto the page without any anxiety about whether they're good or not. So my version of centering attention is a variant of this. Instead of pages as my metric, I use minutes, but you can use whatever metric you want. I set a 10-minute timer on my phone, and then I just bullet point anything that comes into my head in a numbered list. So this could be anything from a detail that I noticed yesterday, or a memory, or an image from a dream, or an insight maybe a friend gave me on our last Zoom call. Anything, right? High, low, broad, really detailed, whatever. But I try and create at least 10 discrete entries. I'll just show you an example right here. This one, the first entry is ketchup used as medicine ? And so that's just something that I heard, that I wrote down, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting detail. I might want to investigate it. So it's really fast. It's only 10 minutes, and it gets you into the habit of putting thoughts on the page without fear over wrangling them into beautiful language. So this is something that I tell my own students. Like, write with abandon that first draft. Don't worry about it sounding good. The point is to just sort of verbally vomit. You can also tailor this to whatever form fits your life. Instead of 10 minutes, maybe start with 5 or even 2. You can start this at any time of the day, morning, before bed, in the bathroom, during your lunch break, wherever you can fit it in. The point is to make it fit with your life. So I hope that you will give this technique a shot.
Thank you so much to everyone who shared today. Definitely leave them some love in the comments. I'm really grateful to get to work with such great people in this community. So I hope that you will try something out this week. Try out one of the writing routines, writing tips, kind of tips and tricks, or just think about how story really is so integral to all of our lives in community together. And we would love to chat more about what you find out. All right, friends and neighbors, thanks so much for joining us today. Keep being bold and brave enough to ask questions in a world that feels uncertain and overwhelming. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.